Perched atop a windswept hill on the outskirts of town, Dunwich Villa stood as a testament to a bygone era. The once grand mansion had long been abandoned, its windows shattered and its walls cloaked in ivy. It was said that anyone who spent a night within its walls would never be the same again. The tales of ghostly apparitions, strange noises and eerie lights were enough to keep even the bravest souls away. Emily had always been fascinated by the supernatural.
As an amateur ghost hunter, I've explored countless haunted locations, capturing evidence of the paranormal on my camera and digital recorder.
The stories of Dunwich Villa intrigued her, and she was determined to uncover the truth. Armed with her equipment and a sense of adventure, she set out one cold October evening to spend the night in the villa. The sky was overcast, the moon hidden behind thick clouds, casting the landscape in an ominous darkness.
My car struggled up the winding road leading to the villa.
She parked at the foot of the hill and made her way up the overgrown path, the crunch of dead leaves underfoot the only sound in the still night. As she reached the entrance, the villa loomed before her, its dark silhouette stark against the night sky. Emily set up her equipment, placing cameras and motion sensors throughout the house, and settled in for what she hoped would be a night of exciting discoveries. Hours passed with little activity.
I wandered the darkened halls, my flashlight casting long shadows on the faded wallpaper.
She reached the grand staircase and ascended to the second floor, her footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. Each room she entered told a story of a once lavish lifestyle now forgotten. She could almost hear the echoes of laughter and music that once filled the villa. In one of the bedrooms, she found an old diary lying on a dresser, its pages yellowed with age.
The entries were written by a woman named Eleanor, who had lived in the villa with her husband and young son.
As Emily read, she felt a growing unease.
The last few entries were frantic and disjointed, speaking of strange occurrences, whispers in the night, shadows that moved on their own, and a sense of impending doom.
The cellar was cold and damp, the walls lined with shelves filled with dusty jars and old tools.
In the far corner, she saw a faint glow, as if from a candle.
She approached cautiously, her flashlight flickering. Her hand trembled as she opened the box.
Inside was a locket, its chain tangled and tarnished.
She picked it up and felt a sudden rush of cold air, as if a presence had entered the room.
The locket swung open, revealing a small portrait of a woman she recognized from the diary, Eleanor.
Shadows began to move around her, taking on human forms with hollow, glowing eyes.
Whispering, they reached out to her, their touch icy and paralyzing.
Desperate, Emily fumbled for her flashlight, but it slipped from her grasp, rolling across the floor.
Screaming! The shadows closed in, their screams merging into a deafening roar.
She felt herself being pulled into the darkness, her body growing numb, her mind filled with visions of suffering and despair. Emily looked up to see a figure standing at the top of the stairs, holding a lantern that seemed to banish the darkness.
It was an old man, his face stern but kind.
"Get out!"
he commanded, his voice echoing through the cellar.
The shadows screamed and vanished, leaving only silence. The man helped Emily to her feet and led her out of the cellar.
"You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice softening. "The villa is cursed. It's not safe for the living."
Emily nodded, too shaken to speak. She gathered her equipment and left the villa, the old man watching from the doorway until she was safely outside. As she drove away, she glanced back at the villa, now just a dark silhouette against the dawn sky. She knew she would never return, the memories of that night forever etched in her mind. The stories of Dunwich Villa continued to grow, and the villagers spoke of the brave young woman who had faced the darkness and survived. But Emily knew the truth. The villa was a place of malevolence, and some doors are better left unopened.